My wife had a black man's son for good genes. One day, my wife brought a black man home, claiming he was an international friend she'd met while traveling abroad in Africa. Watching her coy demeanor towards him, I couldn't shake the feeling that their relationship was more than just friendly. But I kept silent to save face. It wasn't until she discussed with me the possibility of having a mixed-race baby using his seed, saying such a child would be both intelligent and beautiful, I vehemently refused. Although I couldn't have children, I absolutely would not allow something like that to happen. After I had been away for a while, focusing on other business and not coming home, I noticed my wife had become significantly more womanly than before. Marcus, I want to introduce you to a friend. My wife, Evelyn, brought home a tall, imposing black man. He was very tall, with typical black features, thick lips, curly hair, and a towering stature. He stood close to my wife, intimately wrapping his arm around Evelyn's shoulder. I didn't like what I saw, but I still forced a smile and said, "Who is this?" "This is a friend I met while traveling in Africa this time. His name is Jack, and he's a wonderful person. He helped me a lot and truly loves China, so I brought him back with me." Evelyn smiled as she finished speaking, then she playfully linked her arm through Jack's, acting a bit like a clingy bird. "Honey, we have so many empty rooms, you wouldn't mind, would you?" The way Evelyn and Jack exchanged a look and smiled, it made me profoundly uncomfortable, but I still managed to smile and say, "Not at all, after all, our houses are just sitting empty. Since a friend is here, he can stay for a while, it's no trouble." Hearing this, Evelyn rushed over and gave me a big kiss on the cheek, and said with a fawning smile, "You're the best, honey. I love you so much." I caught an unusual scent on her, and I asked, puzzled, "Did you change your perfume?" A brief flicker of hesitation crossed her face, then she stammered, "I got a bit tired of it, so I switched. If you don't like it, I'll change it back, of course. My darling husband's preferences always come first." I looked at her slightly guilty expression and said nothing. Jack moved into the empty apartment downtown. It was already renovated, making it easy for him to move right in. What was strange was that Evelyn, who usually disliked physical activity, helped Jack move all the way until evening. I was in my room reading the newspaper when Evelyn returned. She looked exhausted. As soon as she came back, she sat on my lap and hugged me. "Honey, have you missed me while I was away?" I looked at her playful smile and playfully tapped her nose. "I did. I missed you too." The moment she finished speaking, her red lips pressed against mine. I didn't push her away. Instead, I wrapped my arms around her waist. As things were heating up, Evelyn lightly bit my ear and whispered, "Honey, I want to discuss something with you." I was breathing heavily, my breath uneven. "Go on. Look, we don't have any children, and you can't have any. Ultimately, we'll have to adopt a child with no biological connection to us. So, why don't Jack and I have a child? At least that child would have my genes, right?" Before she could finish, I pushed her away. I felt like I'd been struck by lightning, and I thought I'd misheard her. "What did you say?" Perhaps seeing that I was angry, Evelyn's voice became hesitant and stammering. "Aren't black people's genes supposed to be really good? And mixed-race babies are beautiful and smart. I'm only thinking about our happiness, aren't I?" Hearing her say that, a surge of anger ignited within me, and without thinking, I blurted out, "Evelyn, how dare you say something like having a child with another man? Even if I, Marcus, can't have children, and am a failure in that regard, it's certainly not your place, my wife, to sleep with another man and have a child, is it? What do you even take me for?" My mood instantly soured. I stood up to go to the bathroom, but Evelyn immediately hugged me from behind. Honey, don't be angry. I was just joking. If you're unhappy, I won't bring it up again, okay? I just want to be with you. Don't worry, we can adopt a child later, as long as we're good together." I frowned and sighed deeply. "Evelyn, I know I've let you down in this regard, but haven't I tried my best to compensate you? Whatever you want, whatever you do, I've always supported you unconditionally. But I have only one request for you." I looked at her, gripped her chin, and clearly saw the fear in her eyes. "Never betray me." Evelyn quickly nodded. "I'll never betray you. Otherwise, may I die a terrible death and lose everything." I didn't care for her vows. If someone has other intentions, there's no way to stop them. I went to the bathroom. No matter how much Evelyn tried to please me that night, I remained indifferent. On another occasion, I was working, when, to my surprise, Evelyn came in with Jack. "Honey, I want to discuss something with you. Jack has been here for so long and doesn't even have a proper job. Since we're all family, and our company happens to be short-staffed right now, how about we arrange for him to work at the company?" I looked at the tall, imposing Jack, whose eyes were full of arrogance. I figured it wasn't that he couldn't find a job, but rather that ordinary jobs weren't good enough for him. But I scoffed and said, "Sure, our company happens to need a toilet cleaner right now, how about Jack takes that job?" The moment I finished speaking, both of them froze. Jack even took a step towards me, his eyes full of menace. "You want me to clean toilets?" I just gave a slight laugh. "All work starts from the bottom. What? Are you unwilling?" We stared each other down, neither backing away, until Evelyn rushed over and said to us, "Don't you two argue. It's just cleaning toilets. Why would Jack look down on that?" "Jack, quickly thank the boss for finding you a job." Jack glared at me, remaining silent. Evelyn couldn't help but pinch him. "Jack, say thank you." Jack's cheeks puffed out, and he said, suppressing his anger, "Thank you, boss, I'll work hard." I scoffed. "If you're ready, go ahead. The toilets are quite dirty today, so it'll be a tough job for you, Jack." After saying that, I lowered my head to work. Hearing Jack storm out, slamming the door shut, Evelyn was silent for a moment, then sighed. "Honey, that wasn't right of you. How could you give Jack a job like that? He's very proud." It just crushing his confidence. As Evelyn lectured me, I burst out laughing. "What exactly is your relationship with Jack? I've never seen you interfere with my work before." But as soon as Jack arrived, you couldn't help but get involved. Evelyn visibly froze for a few seconds before saying, "Haha, what relationship could there be? We're just friends." I just felt sorry for him, coming to a new place, where he doesn't know anyone, so I wanted to help as much as I could. "But if you're unhappy about it, honey, then forget it," Evelyn said dismissively. I just stared at her intently, saying nothing. Jack continued to work at the company. No other place would hire him, so to make a living, he had no choice but to clean toilets for me. He didn't clean them well, and every time he failed to clean them properly, I would arrange for someone to make them even dirtier, then have him clean them thoroughly again. Eventually, I needed to go work in another city. The company had expanded significantly, and a new branch had just been established, requiring staff. I had to go there for a long time. "Honey, you're going to Willow Creek for about a year." Evelyn's eyes widened and her mouth dropped open in disbelief. "Yes, about a year. A year should be enough time for me to get things organized there. Once the company is stable, I can come back," I said calmly while packing my suitcase. "Honey, I'll be gone for so long, I'll miss you terribly." Evelyn immediately hugged me, her eyes curving into crescents as she smiled. I caught her scent and couldn't help but frown. "Did you switch back to your old perfume?" Evelyn froze for a moment, then sniffed herself, and said nervously, "I just changed it for a little while. I'll switch it back right away." Evelyn immediately rushed to the vanity table, grabbed her usual perfume bottle, and sprayed herself repeatedly, then rushed back to hug me again. "Honey, how's this?" Evelyn kissed me, as if trying to win me over. But this time, I felt a wave of nausea. Was it just too much perfume? "It's getting late, get some rest," I said to her, then gently pushed her away. "I have an early start tomorrow, and I might wake you when I get up, so I'll sleep in another room tonight. You should get to bed early." After saying that, I walked away, carrying my suitcase to another bedroom. The next morning, when I left, I didn't see Evelyn. I assumed she was still asleep, but I failed to notice that there was no one in the inner bedroom's bed. I thrived in Willow Creek, expanding the company's size twofold. Just as I was preparing to return home, I suddenly saw a photo. My friend had sent it to me. The picture showed Evelyn holding a newborn baby, smiling happily. The baby's features weren't clear, but it was obvious the infant was newborn, and Evelyn's eyes were filled with maternal love. Jack was beside her, his arm around Evelyn's shoulder. I froze for a moment, then my mind exploded. I had only one thought, that Evelyn was cheating on me, and had a child with Jack. I returned home that very night. The moment I burst through the door, I saw Evelyn holding the baby while Jack was preparing formula for it. It was clearly a picture of a happy family. All my rage surged to my head. I immediately rushed towards a bewildered Jack, and punched him hard. I landed punch after punch, hitting him brutally. Jack kept pleading, "Mr. Lou. Mr. Lou." Calm down, Mr. Lou. You've misunderstood. This is a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding what? Tell me what I've misunderstood. You dared to touch my woman. And had a child with her. Are you insane? Jack had no power to fight back, until Evelyn came to her senses, and rushed forward to pull me back. Honey. Honey, this is a misunderstanding. Honey. Listen to me explain. Evelyn yelled. I instinctively shoved her away, and Evelyn fell to the floor. You woman. I treated you so well, and you betrayed me. Evelyn, we're getting a divorce tomorrow. You've misunderstood. Evelyn yelled. Just then, the baby suddenly cried, and I instantly snapped back to my senses. No matter what, the child was the most innocent. Evelyn, seeing that I had calmed down, quickly grabbed a paternity test from the table and handed it to me. Look, the child isn't mine. This is Jack and his ex-girlfriend's child. His girlfriend broke up with him, and Jack couldn't take care of the baby, so I am just looking after the child for a few days. Evelyn pouted, looking aggrieved. I frowned and took the paternity test. The report indeed stated that Evelyn had no biological relation to the child. I breathed a sigh of relief. Thankfully, Evelyn hadn't betrayed me. Honey, you scared me to death today. I only love you, and I consider Jack a friend. How could there be anything between us? But you misunderstanding me really hurt me, Evelyn said, her eyes reddening, as if she were utterly wronged. Seeing her like this, I felt a bit awkward. It turned out to be a misunderstanding, and I had wrongly accused them. I am sorry, I was just too upset, I said awkwardly. Then I walked over to Evelyn. Don't be angry anymore. How about I buy you your favorite bag tomorrow? Evelyn sniffled twice, then immediately hugged me. I hugged her back. What I didn't expect was that I distinctly felt Evelyn's body was softer than before. Was it because I hadn't seen her in a long time? Before I could think too much, Jack said from the side, Mr. Lou, I am sorry. My child and I have caused you trouble. I'll take the child home now. Jack looked apologetic, making me feel even more awkward. We exchanged a few perfunctory words, and Jack left with the crying baby. I felt uneasy, but mostly apologetic. Because of that paternity test, I genuinely believed it was all a misunderstanding, that my thoughts were too dirty, and I hadn't trusted my wife enough. The next day, I bought Evelyn a new designer bag, and Evelyn was very happy. Looking at the excited Evelyn, I narrowed my eyes. I wondered if it was just my imagination, but after last night, I really felt Evelyn had become noticeably rounder and softer, as if she were no longer a young woman. I shook my head, trying to shake off that absurd thought. The matter was settled. What was I still thinking about? I treated Jack and the child to dinner. During dinner, Evelyn held the child the entire time, and the way she looked at the child, I couldn't help but feel her eyes were full of maternal love. Was she just eager to be a mother? Did every woman feel maternal love upon seeing a child? Thinking of this, I felt a pang of self-reproach. I couldn't have children myself, and Evelyn had never had a child of her own. Seeing her so attached to the child, I felt even more guilty. That night, when we returned home, I suddenly asked, Wife, do you really want a child? Evelyn froze for a moment, then smiled, and said, Honey, why are you asking so suddenly? I am a little caught off guard. No, I just saw how much you liked Jack's child today, and I thought you must really like children, so I was thinking, if you like, we could adopt one, I said with a smile. Really? Evelyn's expression clearly brightened with surprise. Then she asked, a hint of hesitation in her voice, then, Honey, can I adopt Jack's child? That child is really adorable, and he was abandoned by his mother right after birth. Jack, being a man, isn't good at taking care of a baby. I just feel so sorry for that child. Upon hearing Jack's child, I hesitated. It wasn't because of the child, but because Evelyn was too good to that child. I knew Evelyn. She wouldn't be this good to a stranger. But then I thought of the paternity test, and I told myself I must be overthinking things. Yes, if that's what you want, I finally said. Evelyn immediately beamed with happiness and threw herself into my arms. I couldn't help but wrap my arms around her waist. It really was softer than before. We adopted the child. Evelyn truly loved the child. She was with him almost constantly. She even stopped going shopping. As for Jack, he remained the toilet cleaner at my company. Out of guilt towards him, I promoted him to a junior employee. My friend sent me a video I opened it curiously, and the content made my blood run cold. It was a video of Evelyn and Jack passionately kissing. They were already burning with desire and inseparable even before reaching the hotel. They only came to their senses when passers-by pointed them out, then apologized, and hugged each other as they headed into the hotel. I clenched my fists. With both eyewitnesses and physical evidence, I had no reason to deceive myself any longer. I had simply been unwilling to believe the truth. I thought about that paternity test. The more I thought about it, the more something felt wrong. If they really were having an affair, then that child. A surge of nameless fury rushed over me, and I immediately went home. If Evelyn dared to trick me, I would never let her off easy. I quickly returned home. The nanny was holding the baby and playing with him. The child was mixed race, and indeed very beautiful. But today, the more I looked, the more I realized how much the child resembled Evelyn. "Mr. Lou, why are you back?" the nanny asked, looking puzzled. "Martha, I got off work early today. Where's my wife?" "Your wife went shopping and hasn't returned yet, Mr. Lou. Are you hungry?" "If he hungry, he'll go cook right away." "Thank you, Martha. He'll take care of the child. I'd like to play with him for a bit." Martha acknowledged me and handed me the child. I took the child. Looking at his features, they truly resembled Evelyn. No wonder Evelyn liked this child so much. She was simply overflowing with maternal love whenever she saw the baby. As I thought this, I pulled out a strand of the child's hair. The child immediately burst into tears. "Oh dear, Mr. Lou, are you not good at holding babies? Is the baby crying?" "I am coming right away," Martha said, rushing over. Just then, Evelyn returned. Her face was flushed an unnatural red, her hair disheveled, and her collar slightly open at the chest. She jumped when she saw me, then immediately said, "No need, Martha, I am back. I'll take care of the baby, okay? I'll start dinner right away." Evelyn froze for a moment, then quickly straightened her clothes and walked towards me. I again caught the scent of that perfume I disliked on her. "Honey, why are you home so early today?" I was just caught off guard. Evelyn gave a fawning smile, then took the child and feigned annoyance. "What's wrong with you, child? Your daddy just held you for a moment. Do you need to react so dramatically?" Evelyn said this while holding and comforting the child. Her gaze, however, seemed off. No matter how I looked at it, behind her, I picked up a strand of hair that had fallen due to strenuous activity. "I have something to do, so I am heading out," I said blandly, then turned to leave. Evelyn suddenly called out to me, "Honey, aren't you coming back for dinner?" I turned around and saw desperately hidden hickeys on her chest. Evelyn seemed to sense something and stammered, "There have been so many mosquitoes lately, they've bitten me all over. It's absolutely dreadful. Be careful," I said simply, then walked away. Whether they were hickeys or bites, I knew better than anyone. I handed the 2 strands of hair to someone at the hospital, telling them to give me the results as soon as possible and not to tell anyone. I pinched the bridge of my nose, feeling a wave of annoyance. Then something occurred to me, and I picked up my phone to give instructions. I contacted the hotel and asked them to send me Evelyn and Jack's hotel stay records. I wanted to see just how many times they had booked a room. I suddenly thought of the apartment I had given Jack to live in. I contacted the security guard at that apartment and asked him to send me the surveillance footage. The footage arrived quickly, and I discovered that for the past year, Evelyn had practically been living at Jack's apartment, and if anyone asked, they would claim to be old friends. Naturally returning home at night, I scoffed. So, for the past year, I had been cuckolded and had been facilitating their illicit rendezvous. I had even provided the place for their secret meetings. The hotel records arrived quickly. In that year, they had booked rooms almost 200 times, always the most luxurious couples suites, filled with adult toys and lingerie. A surge of suppressed fury welled up in me. I slammed my fist onto the table, and a crack immediately appeared. "Hello, prepare divorce papers for me, yes, as soon as possible." After saying that, I hung up. Just then, the paternity test results came in. I looked at them, a 99.9% biological match. The child was Evelyn and Jack's child. I took a deep breath and called Evelyn. The phone rang for several seconds before she answered. I heard Evelyn breathing heavily on the other end. "Hello, honey, what's up?" "I am just exercising at the gym." "Exercising? All right, but I doubt it's at the gym." But I forced myself to regain my composure. "Nothing much. I just called to ask where you are. I want to tell you something. What is it? Honey, tell me. Evelyn took a deep breath. Her voice was syrupy sweet. I gripped the phone, feeling a wave of nausea at the thought of what disgusting things they were doing on the other end. I don't think Jack is capable of being a regular employee, so I've decided to send him back to cleaning toilets. What do you think? The moment I finished speaking, I heard Evelyn let out a muffled groan, sounding as if in both pain and pleasure, and a very faint fuck. I gripped the phone, my knuckles white. Okay, honey, I have to go. I'll hang up now. Whatever you do is right, Evelyn quickly said, then hung up. A dial tone filled my ear. I threw my phone onto the table, then something occurred to me, and I picked up my phone to give instructions. Get me some reporters. Yes, right now, I have somewhere to go. Now that things had come to this, there was no need to save her any face. I would let everyone see what kind of person she truly was. I took the reporters to Jack's apartment. Since the apartment was originally mine, I had a spare key and easily walked inside to find clothes scattered across the living room, men's, women's. It was obvious what had happened. From the bedroom, I could hear sounds of passion. The sounds were intense, and the heavy breathing of two people filled the air. The reporters were seasoned professionals and showed no discomfort. Instead, they gripped their video cameras tightly, ready to capture tomorrow's headline. I immediately opened the door, and the reporters swarmed in. Who are you? Get out! Evelyn yelled. I could imagine their panicked voices, and Jack's furious shouts. Fuck. Get out. Oh my God. Who sent you? Don't you believe I can make you all lose your jobs? I'll blacklist you all. Evelyn shrieked hysterically, completely devoid of her usual gentle and virtuous demeanor. I walked into the room. I sent them. Evelyn and Jack froze instantly, especially Evelyn, whose eyes were filled with shock and fear. She stood there, mouth agape, for a few seconds, then grabbed a blanket and crawled towards me. Honey, listen to me explain. Jack, without a blanket, immediately yelled, fuck. My blanket. Jack quickly threw on a few random pieces of clothing, which still turned out to be Evelyn's. Honey, I know I was wrong. I truly know I was wrong. It's not what you think. Please, just let me explain, okay? I promise I'll never do it again. Evelyn crawled to my feet, pleadingly tugged at my pant leg, her tears dripping onto the floor with a soft pat-pat sound. Her tear-streaked face, normally, would have made me pity her, or feel self-reproach, but now, I only felt disgust. The thought of what she had just done with Jack made me want to vomit. I kicked Evelyn aside. Don't touch me, you disgust me, honey. I was really wrong. It wasn't intentional. I still love you. Please forgive me, please. Evelyn said, slapping herself hard several times. The sound sharp and clear. See, do you feel any better? I looked at her, feeling only contempt. I immediately turned and left. Behind me were Evelyn's heart-wrenching sobs. The next day, I was sitting in the living room. Before me were the prepared divorce papers, the paternity test, and a USB drive containing various pieces of evidence. Evelyn and Jack walked in. Today, I had Martha take the child out. Their eyes held a hint of panic, especially Evelyn. As soon as she entered, she knelt down before me, her face streaked with tears. Honey, I know I was wrong. Please give me another chance. I'll never betray you again. And, Jack's child, if you have reservations about him, we can give the child back. Anything to make you happy. Okay. I scoffed at her words. Evelyn, you truly have a cruel heart. You'd even abandon your own biological child. I underestimated you. Evelyn and Jack were stunned. Evelyn immediately said, honey, you've misunderstood. Although I did make a mistake with Jack, the child is just Jack's and his ex-girlfriend's. How could I possibly have a child with another man behind your back? Evelyn finished, then nudged Jack with her arm, and Jack said, looking displeased, yes, Mr. Lou. Evelyn is telling the truth. That child is just mine and my ex-girlfriend's. As soon as Jack finished speaking, Evelyn immediately burst into tears. Honey, how could you think that of me? I am so heartbroken. Is that really the kind of person you think I am? Seeing their act, I burst out laughing, then threw the paternity test at their faces. Then see for yourselves. Are you still trying to make a fool out of me? It's written in black and white. You are that child's mother. Evelyn, it truly heartless, daring to lie to me. How long did you intend to keep lying to me? I yelled, startling Evelyn. She picked up the paternity test with trembling hands, speechless for a moment. I then threw the divorce papers in her face. Let's get a divorce. If you don't sign, I'll proceed with legal action. I have plenty of evidence. Anyway, I thought Evelyn and Jack would be scared, but I had underestimated their brazenness. Now that things had come to this, they both dropped the act and stood up. Honey, I really do love you, but since you're treating me like this, I've decided I won't hold back either. I was so angry I laughed. Hold back? Hold back what? If you want a divorce, you have to give me half of your assets. Otherwise, I won't agree, Evelyn said, crossing her arms, her petty, vulgar side on full display. Jack, standing beside her, also smiled, and said, Mr. Lou, it's not that I look down on you, but you can't even satisfy your own woman. It's truly pathetic. You can't have children, so are you going to stop your own woman from having them with another man? They stared at me, their eyes full of mockery. I was so angry I laughed. I punched Jack hard and slapped Evelyn, a whore and a dog, a match made in hell, destined to be together forever. I wish you both eternal happiness and everlasting union. As for my assets, you won't get a single penny. Jack immediately panicked and lunged at me, but I quickly subdued him, a tall, imposing man, but that was all he was. I landed punch after punch on Jack's face. Evelyn panicked, trying to stop us. Marcus, stop it, or I'll call the police. Then call them. Let's see who the police will side with. I glanced at her, then punched Jack hard again, until his face was bloody and bruised. Then I stood up, took a wad of cash from my wallet, and threw it in their faces. This money is enough for your medical bills. Now get out, and don't let me see you again. As for the divorce, I'll proceed legally. You won't get a single cent of my property. After saying that to them, I kicked out the crying Evelyn and a defiant Jack, and began contacting my lawyer to initiate legal proceedings. With all that evidence, I smoothly divorced Evelyn and left her with nothing. I also fired Jack. He didn't want to clean toilets, did he? Now he doesn't even have that job. As for the child, neither Evelyn nor Jack wanted him, so I sent the child directly to the foster care system. Jack was a lazy, good-for-nothing thug. Once he lost his job and his place to live, he brutally beat Evelyn, leaving her covered in wounds, and when Evelyn, covered in injuries, came to find me, she immediately knelt down before me. Honey, I was wrong. Honey, I'll never betray you again. I truly know I was wrong. Let's get back together, I beg you. I promise I'll be a good wife to you. We can adopt a lovely child and grow old together. Evelyn was a mess, her hair disheveled, her body covered in bruises, and her clothes tattered. She looked like a beggar. I looked at Evelyn, my eyes filled with indifference. Someone, get her out of here. If she ever comes back, just send her away. Don't let her dirty our company's floors. Evelyn's eyes widened, and she knelt down and pleaded, but I remained unmoved. Soon, she was thrown out, and I sat in my office, watching the bustling traffic below and Evelyn abandoned on the ground. I married a kind woman, and adopted a lovely child. As for Evelyn, I heard she ended up stabbing Jack to death with a knife, and then descended into madness and went to prison. Jack had no one to claim his body. He was cremated, and his ashes were scattered in a desolate wilderness. Meanwhile, my wife, our child, and I were traveling abroad.